So let's give just 2 minutes for people to join. Meanwhile, I will tell a little bit about Teach Me How to Rover initiative and about community-led classes for the new people. So community-led classes are basically classes held not by Atlassian, but from different people across the ecosystem, people who work for marketplace partners, people who work for solution partners, Atlassian customers, Atlassian champions. So everyone who's passionate and who wants to share some knowledge, share some ideas, discuss them. So these are why community classes exist. And Teach Me How to Rover, these are new series that are sharing the fundamentals of Rover and AI within the Atlassian. I see in the chat that Valeriana Colón joined us. Maybe you can unmute yourself and just say a couple of words about yourself and teach me how to Rover.
Hi, everybody. I'm really excited that Margot joined the community-led learning courses. She has been teaching OKRs for as long as I've seen her in the community champions space. And I really encouraged her to bring her OKR magic to community-led learning so she can reach a wider audience, a different audience than what she's currently getting, because we don't talk enough about OKRs and how they connect with AI and Rovo. So there's a lot of opportunities there. People want to gather their information using AI and then present it in very specific ways. That's one of the top use cases I get from people is I want to give leadership better data so that they can make so they can make sound decisions. And how do I do that? How does it all connect? And Margot answers those questions for you, and she's been doing it so long that you can really trust what she's going to say on the topic as far as OKRs go and how they drive effective decision making. So I'm really excited. My name is Dr. Valeriana Colón. She asked me to introduce myself. I've been teaching for Atlassian since Rovo came out, actually since before Rovo came out, so past year and a half. And I'm here in the chat. If anyone has any questions, it can be Rovo related. It can be any type of aspect that you want. I'll try to reserve some of the OKR questions for Margot because that is her strength. It's not, I wouldn't say it's not my strength, but I don't know it as in depth as Margot does.
Oh, it definitely is. Don't be so shy. So yeah, like informally, people call Valerie the Rover Queen within the Atlassian ecosystem. So if you want to get answers regarding Rover, you should get to her, and she's the person who's getting early access to all the exciting new features. So you maybe hear some hints about the upcoming stuff from Valerie. So yeah, thank you again for making this course happen. And a little bit about myself. I've had quite a long journey from someone who genuinely hated OKRs to OKR champion and the person who advocates for the framework a lot, who consults others on the framework, who works for the OKR software vendor. So that's been an interesting journey. I'm having lots of fun stories and some experience to share with you. If you have any question, please don't wait till the end. Put it in a chat. I'm looking into 2 screens. I will try to address your questions as soon as possible. So don't wait till the end. Ask them as soon as you can. And I will try to do the session in about 40 minutes so that we can, spare some time for questions and explorations together. And also, if you show something that is relatable to you and you run some experiments and you have some feedback to share, please go ahead, put it in the chat. The product is relatively new, so I think your experience might be super valuable for the community. So just for the people who know me for OKRs, and if they don't know what is Rover, you're not in the dark. For the people who know Rover but do not know OKRs, the goal setting framework, which helps to achieve super ambitious and inspirational goals, and it can be used by small companies, it can be used by individuals, it can be used by enterprises, so very universal, very widespread. So people sometimes put personal OKRs to run a marathon or to run Ironman or enterprises put OKRs, to become the market leaders. So very broad case. Even if your company is not using them right away, you might got interested. And about okay, the slide is interesting. And about the Rovo, here it goes. So as you might heard, that the Rovo is an AI tool, which is consisted on three main components. This is search, this is chat, and these are agents. So we will focus most of the session around agents, but we will just briefly cover the search and the chat, and like the cases that they might be suitable for, and especially for new people, for your team who might not be very confident or like tech savvy within AI. That might help. So before we jump into the instance and start experimenting, I would like to speak a little bit about the OKR challenges. There are a lot of them, and sometimes AI can help, sometimes it cannot yet. And there should be an emoji with Terminator here, I guess, but yeah, keeping things professional. So if you need to brainstorm your OKRs, so for example, people are writing them for the very beginning, from the very first time, it's much easier to have some draft and then polish it and play around with it. So this is where Robo can help, ChatGPT can help, and all the rest of AI assistants. If you need to improve what you've already written, so you have some vague objectives that you're not sure that people would understand it, or you have a key result but you're not sure like how to make it more measurable, it's also something AI can help with. If you want to quickly detect some misalignment, so for example, you are drafting OKRs for your department, and you may not remember all the company objectives, and you want just to check if they are aligned, you can also use AI here. You can pull some data automatically, you can collect context. So this is the areas where it works great, but still don't forget that you need to get your internal buy-in for OKRs. It sometimes requires quite heavy cultural shift. It requires motivation, discipline, and commitment from people. And do not think that AI can be a silver bullet within your OKRs. It cannot. You would still need all the basic things, but yeah, it can make this journey easier. General instructions, it's similar to Rovo, it's similar to the rest of the assistants. You need to be specific to describe the tone, the role of the agent you're working with. You can need to set some boundaries, what is good, what is bad. And this is where new people are sometimes getting lost, because when you are setting things up, and if you're on this workshop, you may be the person who would build the first agent for your company, or build the first OKR agent for your company, and you can learn how to prompt very well. You can be very specific, but then when the actual user will get into your agent, they will put something very something very simple, like if we're talking about OKRs, like tell me how my goals are going. So they might not specify where to dig these goals, so which report to look into. They might not specify which dashboard is it in, or what period to look in. So these are the information that you should put into your agent instructions, so that people can get onboarded easier. And we'll just move there pretty soon and look how to set things up. And important point, after you launch everything, you need to test like a real team member, put questions, and try to crash it to get some good results. So getting into my demo instance, where can you find Rovo? You can find Rovo in search. And if we're talking about OKRs and Rovo in search, it should be very basic. So for example, a person forget what are the priority goals, and you can ask like, what are my company goals, and you would get an AI answer. you would get the sources. So this is very straightforward. This is an easy question. It's also a good question to put into a chat. You can access chat right here on the right. You can put, okay, give me a second. You put your prompt right here, and this is a little bit more polished because you can, play around, you can refine, you can be more specific about it. But generally, yeah, you get the response and you can go on working on it. If we are talking about OKRs, using this chat won't bring a lot of value to you because it's very generic. So you need to feed your OKR playbook, the way how you treat OKRs, your approach to it. You need to feed your company context for it to work well. So for this case, you go to Agent. You can access agents here, or you can also go through your instances and you can find Studio, and then you can get to agents from there. Whatever you prefer, you can start the agents that you use. And by default, if you search for OKRs here, you would find OKR Generator by Atlassian, which is pretty good. And I would recommend just make a copy of this agent and play around with the instructions, see what will work for you and what will not. So I have a comment from Christopher in a chat. I have agents all over the place in my organization. Okay, this is one of the challenges that is coming from AI. There is even a word for this. It calls like agents fatigue. Because when people get new stuff, they try to experiment, they create a lot of stuff. Sometimes you lose governance of it. It happens. Valerie, can you please remind me? As far as I remember, we cannot specify specific users, but we can specify which roles can create agents, right? Within.
Right. That feature recently came out, I want to say like 2 weeks ago, is you should have the ability to define who gets to use agents as an admin, at like your role as an admin. And more governance features are coming out because that is, like Margot said, a highly requested. Is agent sprawl is really challenging because then people have to search through agent libraries, and what happens is people start making the agent and then don't complete them. And so you have a lot of trash agents that then if people start clicking on and trying to use, it counts against your quota. So you want to regulate that as well.
Okay, so I hope, Christopher, that will help. As a links or as sources, and here you explain what basically you want agent to do. So this is all within the instructions. I'll just quickly check the chat. Okay, I see that people I see in the screen right now. This is good.
Yeah, we had a few good questions along the way. One of the last ones I answered was, once an agent is created and published, and if I want to edit the agent afterwards, like adding more instructions or refining the response, will that option be there? And the answer is yes. You click on the 3 dots next to the agent and you'll always be able to edit it, because that's what the agents improve over time and as you refine your instructions. So especially with the OKR agent, the number one complaint I get about that agent is it's not giving me all greens, or it's not saying that I'm meeting my OKRs. And that's because people aren't giving enough instructions on what makes what good is, what goal is, like what are you trying to accomplish? And so when you're not getting the results you look for, it's very much encouraged for you to refine your instructions and see where the disconnect is over time.
Yeah, I would also suggest, like, not from the beginning, but maybe later, if you have very different approaches across departments within the OKRs, you may need to create a different agent, because again, some of the departments are more oriented on the business metrics. Some of them are more oriented on the outputs, not on specific, business metrics. And if you try to, to make every department responsible for the business metric, and to make, okay, what would be a good example? So, for example, again, I was talking about engineering team before, that some big implementation could be an OKR for them. If you would try, like to tie their OKRs to some revenue goals, it would not make directly, it would not make a lot of sense. And you may also want to refine agents based on that, and the amount of this number heavy impacts that you have. And yes, you need to iterate on them. So you iterate that it becomes better. That is a very good question from Jess. Any questions, Valerie?
That was a good one. I like the tip of that you said of depending on the division or the department, you need a new OKR agent. Not everybody has that. I think people often forget that concept and they start trying to apply their OKR agent across the board, and it doesn't work like that. You really have to focus in those OKRs on various different people. Your I'm gonna butcher this name. It's terrible. Your not the name's terrible. My pronunciation's terrible. The last question in the chat was, can you explain how you can use an agent in a sandbox? So sometimes people don't want to expose their agent. It's very experimental. It has lots of automations. So I recommend using it in a sandbox environment first, and those instructions on how to set them up are a little bit involved, and there's a character limit on what I can respond back to people. So I'm going to send the link to the support doc that gives instructions on how to set up your sandbox so that you can deploy those types of agents, because I highly recommend, if you're going to use a Rovo agent with an automation, to do that in a sandbox environment. And also pay attention to the number of tokens that the agent and with the automations use, because they will count against your automations once you trigger an automation, and then it'll count against your limit on Rovo tokens. And the reason you want to pay attention to those is if Atlassian decides down the line to adopt consumption-based pricing, that consumption-based pricing, once you hit your limits, will then kick in afterwards, and you need to have a sense of your usage so you know if you're overusing the AI and are going to be asked to pay at some point in time.
Yeah, so there was this discussion before, and I think at some point of time they would be there. So we should pay attention on the consumption here as well. So I will be getting back to the slides right now. So some rollout tips for success. Once you create your agent, you might be very excited about it, and you just, you can send it into your team chat and say like, hey, this is the new agent. People are generally, okay, they sometimes are not that excited. So what might work good is when you speak about a use case, and especially if this is a challenge for them. For many people who are getting started, it's a great challenge to write strong OKRs, and you can say like, hey, like this is your brainstorming partner whom you can use to polish your objectives, to check the alignment, also to check the updates, for them to check the statuses, to see what other teams are doing. So depending on how you set it up, so there are different possibilities. You definitely need to ask for feedback proactively and then improve it over time. So this is what were people asking before. Yes, you would need to edit the instructions, look at the output, then iterate, and iterate. There are some other ideas about agents from Valerie that she suggested. So making OKR summary of, for example, not only the status, but you write the updates, right? You can also grab these updates and put it all together, so that people can access them easily. You can see what if anything is blocked. You can check your statuses. You can use reporting as a reporting agent. Okay, I see a question from Suzanne. How can one leverage Rovo to automate reporting against OKRs on a specific cadence? Okay, so
I can answer the cadence part if you answer the OKR reporting part. So on the cadence, like say you want a monthly report to go to your admins every month, obviously, set up an automation. So once Margot gets you the report about OKRs, then you would connect it to an automation that then says, email this report to, and then list off your people. But Margot, go ahead and if you can answer the
Yeah, so
getting your OKR report.
the reporting is a little bit tricky. So it depends what do you use. So within the reporting, you can grab, for example, data from Atlassian Goals and Atlassian Focus into uh, analytics dashboards. So this is one of the options where you can see the reports. And then but Rovo do not access these dashboards directly. So basically, you can collect information there and then ask for some summarization. You have some out-of-the-box basic status reporting within these tools. What I also experimented with, I was feeding Rovo just file reports. So I was exporting reports in PDF, in XLS from other software. So with PDF, it wasn't working. It wasn't able to detect with XLS. Uh, for one, so for one case, it detected and was able to provide the summary. For another case, I was doing the same file, and Robo got confused and said that he's not able to extract the data. So it's pretty young right now, and you need to try some different prompts and some different cases. So I would say I don't have like one polished answer about automating the reporting. It can grab some information from you, find it, but so it can also publish information on a Confluence page. So you can set it as an action. Let me go to the actions. So these are the actions that you can use for your agent. So for example, you can create a page with the summary. You can add some comments with the status update. So these are some stuff that you can do. There are no direct actions to do with the goals themselves from Rowa, only within, like Confluence issues and Jira issues, Confluence, and that sort of stuff. Susan, maybe you can share where do you track your OKRs, and then then we'll see what would be the best answer. And I see Christopher is asking, agents, my agents where it has so much content and instructions that info needs to be divided amongst more agents with higher level of precision amongst all tickets types. How should I handle that?
So I was thinking about this one. If you're writing instructions and you hit the maximum character limit, so there is, when you start writing instructions, there's like I'm just making a number off my head, like 10,000 character limits in the length of your instructions. If you're starting to hit that limit, you can write a lot in these instructions, and I recommend being as detailed as possible. But if you have so much to say in these instructions, you really do need to break it down into separate agents, because for many reasons. One, AI in general doesn't do multiple steps in a prompt very well. So what you tend to have to do, whether you're using the chat or you're using an agent, is give it one main focus or one main task, and then the next chat or the next agent can then tackle the next task. So break it up. This will also help with some of when you first start using Rovo and you start asking it to query tickets, its accuracy, I would say, is about 75%. So like if you say query 10 tickets that you know exist, it'll give you 77 of them. And you're like, no, I know 10 exist. You give it some time, and then eventually after you use it, after it understands what you want, it'll give you all 10. So if you break up those agents into separate, if you break the instructions up across different agents, it'll help query the information more accurately. And then you have to connect the agents in a workflow. This can get a little complicated because if any part of your automation workflow is off, the whole chain will break. So you do need to be very intentional. So I suggest starting small and then working your way up to those more complex agent configurations where you're asking it Rovo to do a function, automation to do a function, and then Rovo to get back to you on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see Israel is sharing how the specific limits for descriptions, instructions. Thank you very much for that.
Yes, thank you. 16,000 characters is good. It's a good amount. I've seen like ChatGPT, you can do more, like it has a greater limit. And so Rovo, it has multiple LLMs, and one of them that feeds into it is ChatGPT. So like over time, maybe that character limit will grow. But I'd say since Rovo is kind of in its baby phase, like it's in its infancy, I think 16,000 is good for people to get on the learning curve of Rovo, and as it expands, because sometimes too much AI can create complexity that no one's really ready for. But back to you, Margot.
Yeah, while we're talking about ChatGPT, what a lot of people I know do, and with Claude and with other AI agents, they use them to polish instructions for Rovo. So you cannot use. So for example, you cannot use in majority of cases just any random AI tool. You know, if you want to ask about your company OKRs and get some feedback, generally it's prohibited if this tool is not like approved internally within your organization. So you cannot just go and put confidential information there. But here you can play around with some instructions, with some prompts, experiment with them, ask to reiterate, and then you can use this as instructions for Rovo as well. So this might be helpful. And even within the time, you know, like for me, what the feature that I would like most to have in Rovo is the opportunity to send voice messages to this, because I'm so much, you know, used to voice messages within the other AI tools. It's so, you know, like it's so easy. It saves so much time. So I quite often I do a voice message in ChatGPT and then I grab this information and they put it into Rovo. So just it helps me a lot. Okay, we are moving to the final part of our presentation. It's not, so we're having Atlassian Analytics. They're not having a lot of AI features inside right now, but they would have more. So we would like to highlight what is in there. So if you are not sure about whether this analytics are available for you, admins can find inside the instance and inside the tools. So if you don't see it, right, if you don't see analytics right here, you go to more Atlassian apps, and within enterprise package, you should be able to find it. And what does Atlassian Analytics offers in general? So first, you can grab quick insights just clicking on the report. And it's really good because, oh, I'm so sorry, guys. It's good because Atlassian Analytics can grab information not only from Jira, like Jira dashboard, it can grab information from goals, it can grab information from other tools and blend them together, and you can get insights. You can also use AI to write some queries for your reports. So before that, it was pretty hard to make a report. You were supposed to learn a little bit of SQL. Right now, you can just put it, you know, in a plain words and then just check it visually if it makes sense. And you can also use it for custom formulas. From the OKR perspective, there is a template. It's called like focus goals reports, and there is also a template for the focus, and to see the goals, to see what is on track, to what is if goals are aligned with focus areas, what you want to watch. You can also build, you know, columns together within the statuses, within the progress. So a lot of possibilities here, and then you can get insights from it. So very briefly here, it's a new So AI here is pretty new, and it will be expanding soon. And I would move to the OKR AI pitfalls, just to warn some people, because again, you shouldn't be over reliant on AI. It makes mistakes, and it confuses things, and all the rest of the stuff. You need to think about your data quality. So I was talking about Confluence. A lot of people have so many stuff put in there that they forget to update it, and it gets messy, and they cannot then use it, to inform their agents. So you really, really, really need to care about your data quality. Think about the permissions and privacy. Good part about Rovo is that if a person is not able to access specific information within the organization, Rovo won't provide this information. So it might not be obvious, but this is how it works. And it's really great because, for example, if I'm a junior employee, I don't know, like if I'm a marketing assistant at a company, and I'm writing some, drafting some ideas for my team OKRs, I may not need all the financial reports of my company, like, and that sort of data. Agent fatigue, we mentioned it before at the beginning. People create too many agents and get lost in them, and some unrealistic expectations. So these are just things that you need to be cautious of. And moving forward, if you are interested about OKRs, I will be at Atlassian Team 25. I will be hosting brain dates there. So if you're going to the conference, you can log into the app, you can join the brain dates, and we can meet in person and discuss challenges within OKRs, AI, and related topics. Uh, Also, a little bit of a spotlight on Obot. Obot provides OKR software. These are apps for Jira, Confluence, Salesforce, Monday, and this is the company I work for, and the software I really enjoy, deeply integrated within Atlassian ecosystem. And okay, this is time for Q&A. We don't have a lot of time left, but I think we also don't have too many questions. So I see
Margo,
the
can I
first.
ask the first question?
Yep,
Can
sure.
you put your work email in the chat? I only have your Gmail.
Oh,
Or is it
sure.
okay to put your Gmail out? Can you throw it in? And then Suzanne has a question about, can we use Rovo to build out our OKRs and then feed the KPI? Thank you, Marco. Build out the OKRs and then feed the KPIs into Atlassian Analytics to track progress against KPIs, such as percentage of reductions of misrouted tickets. So I would say use AI or use Rovo to refine the language around your OKRs to like really build them out. One of the resources that I put in the chat earlier is Atlassian has a template, like a fill in the blank template to help you, that you could use those templates to plug it into Rovo and to help you build out the language of your OKRs. So once you have like that narrative, how you describe your OKRs, then you can put that into your instructions for your agent, your OKR agent, and then set up your Atlassian Analytics. But you don't really feed your OKR agent into your Atlassian Analytics. They should be able to operate independently. And that's what you really want, because you want them to check each other. You want them to be able to say, okay, my Atlassian Analytics also says what my Rovo says, and so I can depend on that information a little bit better. Like it's more confidence around that data. But what are your suggestions, Margo?
Okay, so the first thing I want to say, which was a little bit confusing to me when I was starting exploring it, I was looking for how to connect Rovo to Atlassian Analytics, and I was thinking that something is broken within my instance, because I wasn't able to find, like this Rovo chat or anything there. And then I dig on into the documentation and realized, no, there is this AI features, but there is no direct connection to Rovo. So I think it may be similar with Suzanne, because we cannot use Rovo and Atlassian Analytics directly. So Atlassian Analytics, it can take information from your Jira, it can take information from your goals, but at the same time, Atlassian Analytics cannot directly communicate with Rovo. But goals can directly communicate with Rovo, and Confluence can communicate, and Jira can. So it's not like 100% polished ecosystem. So some of these integrations are missing, but it's getting more and more sophisticated, and it's good, like to keep an eye on it and see what is coming next. Okay, any other questions? Okay, I see David is putting OKRs tracked in other Atlassian apps like Jira may work well within R&D, but the moment you move into finance, HR, sales, other systems are used. For example, Catalyst One, HR tool imposed on our entire company, regardless of potential availability of Rovo-assisted functionality. Can Rovo access, import, and understand data from third-party HR systems? So I saw that not HR, I saw that Salesforce is somewhere in the experimentation stage. HR systems, no. Even, like within the apps. So for example, I was internally we use our board app. It's OKR bot for Jira, and it has this all sort of reports, and it has macros to be built into a Confluence. It has macros to build gadgets for Jira dashboard, but Rovo is not able to eat this data. I think this is because it doesn't live natively in Jira. So what I think you can try to do with your HR tool, and what I've done before within our tool. So I was I will try it now and see if it will work, because sometimes it works, sometimes not. So I export information in XLS file and then say like, please like prepare an update on my OKRs.
I love this workaround. So I do get this question a lot as well. So about specific connectors and when are specific connectors coming out, and then people finding gaps in. So there's an idea that Rovo connects to all fields within all of the Atlassian suite, and it's just not the case. So some things that you would think Atlassian could pull data from, it can't pull data from its own ecosystem. And then people often in finance and HR want their information within, and the connector doesn't exist yet. I'd say a couple of things. One, connectors are coming, they're adding more. That's a big focus for Atlassian, because the more connectors you have, the more you could harness your data. Two, finance and HR. So finance, the reason those are a priority but take longer to produce is natural language processing and large language models focus on language and not on numbers. So there's a lot more to develop there in order to capture all of those numbers. But what Margot is suggesting is exporting your data and then putting it in, brilliant workaround. Especially if you want to pull the narrative out for now, and then putting a request into Atlassian to say, hey, we need this connector. Now on the HR side, Atlassian is venturing into the HR world, and so it might take them longer to make some of those HR connectors because they're focused on building their own HR related functionalities within the ecosystem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so again, what I see here is it captures information, but sometimes it captures it like not completely. So I see like 2 objectives instead of 4. So something is a little bit off here. I think it might be polished, maybe, like the form of the template. So it's like just the default export that I used. So I think it would be getting more polished. What works good with it? So when you copy paste information into the chat, it can understand it perfectly. When you try to put it in PDF or XLS file, quite often it gets confused. So
yeah, and you do. I hate to say this because I'm not a proponent of this philosophy, but many say that you just have to yell at your AI and be very forceful and say, "Give me all objectives." And I say, okay, if I get on that habit and I do that and there's an AI apocalypse, then I will be on the hit list for my AI because I've yelled at it over the years. Over time, it should realize more information, and the more you prompt it of like, no, that's not what I'm looking for, give me something better, it should adjust over time. But there is definitely some room for improvement here in this particular area. And one thing they just released yesterday was an announcement that they did PDF reading of information. So if you upload a PDF into Jira or Confluence, a new feature that they just released is its
It
ability
wasn't
to
working for
read
me.
it. Yeah, and that's the thing. So like they announced it yesterday, but please do not expect that it works today. Give it some time to actually index that
Okay.
information and for the functionality to actually work out, because let's just say when Atlassian announces something, give it a couple of months before it'll actually work the way you think it should.
Yeah, they're actually fantastic marketers. I'm so fond of the way Atlassian is doing marketing. So they announce information pretty much ahead. They get the feedback, they reiterate, and yeah, they're doing a great job at that. So, but yeah, sometimes something is missing, but it's improving. And like the Rovo couple of months ago and Rovo right now, these are two different rovers, and the potential is still it's huge for this. Okay. Are there any like use cases you would like to explore, or we are out of time, but I can stay for 5 minutes longer if there are any pressing questions right now. Okay, I see Christopher. How do you know if our agents are being created when you already have the automation? Is there a way to tell? Okay, I think Valerie answered.
Yeah,
No, it
that's not
wasn't
it's
Valerie.
not an easy one. So there is a log on anything that any action Rovo takes. There is a log in the admin panel. You don't get notified. Like it'll, if I create an agent and me and Margot share the environment, Margot's not going to know that I created that agent unless she's looking in the library and sees that agent pop up, like, oh, Valerie created an agent, and she won't know if that agent has automations on it. Those automations will just count against your quota unless you look at your logs and see that there is an agent pulling on your automation quota. So there is some room for improvement when it comes to governance. Like these are all things we need to know as admins before we get charged for anything. So if Atlassian goes that route, we definitely be prepared to add some feedback if you're not getting the information you need in order to make your pricing decisions.
Okay, if no other questions, thank you very much, everyone. There is QR code on the screen. If you want to reach out to me via LinkedIn, please, you're very welcome to. And yeah, if anyone would be at Atlassian team in Barcelona, please let me know. I would love to meet other people who are passionate about OKRs in person. Thank you very much for coming, everyone. And Valerie, thank you for being, so supportive, for handling all the questions and bringing your unique expertise here today.
Thank you for having me, Margot. You did an amazing job. I hope you do it again. One person asked about a recording for it. I see your recording. Are you going to put it on your guys' YouTube channel?
I think yeah. So when I joined, the recording was going, then it stopped, and I started a new recording. So I guess they might be, like two separate files, and we might miss, a couple of minutes, but yeah, we will
Yeah,
share what we have.
so we'll check
Uh,
out your YouTube channel for it. It'll also be in the registration page for those of you who would like a recording. Thank you all for coming. Back to you, Margot.
Thank you very much, everyone. Goodbye, and see you in the next sessions.